And we are back. Hey, y'all. This is Double Dose Raw Talk podcast with your favorite host, Misty. And this is going to be a mini dose. You know, it is as my good friends over at Wine Down Crew would say, is the hybrid between um your mini-sode, but an episode. So it is a mini dose. And shout out to the Wine Down Crew pod and the RCC pod. But you know, I'm using now these mini doses to give myself grace and space, right? When I need to just take a breather, right? A breather. And I'm still gonna show up and show out for you guys, right? I'm still here. I'm still gonna share a little thoughts processing with you guys. But I also do need to give myself just that moment, right? To take a breather. And so this is where these mini doses are coming in. It's like longer than your Tuesday mini so series where it is a dose for the soul. I share what I'm present with, and it is a deeper look into my soul in that given moment. But this is definitely less than a full episode, which usually full episodes involve a guest. And I say this to say, I know for a fact we have some new listeners. So welcome, y'all. I figured I'd give you guys that little bit of a rundown as to what to expect here on this podcast, on this platform. And just for additional fun facts to the new listeners of yours truly, your favorite host, Miss D. I am 35 years old. I will be 36 in November. I am a very Bronx girl. I am I am Latina, born here, but I am Ecuadorian, and I am a very proud single mother of a teenage young man who, if I say so myself, I am doing a pretty fucking good ass job raising. Shout out to my village. But yeah, that is your fun facts about me. Oh, that was pretty dope. I'm glad I was able to introduce myself. I always love the whole reintroduction. Shout out to Hove. If you know anything about me, here's fun fact number 5. I am obsessed with Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige. And on that note, let's continue. All right, so I want to jump right into food for thought. I want to jump right into this because, for one, I think it's a great continuation of last week's episode where we talked about food and health coach. Food and health coaching with a food and health coach, my dear friend and entrepreneur, Bagels and Brussels, who I am, first announcement, officially her client, y'all. Yes, I have decided to venture out on this new journey with food and health coaching as well, in addition to personal training that I have, therapy that is coming back, thank God, and life coaching too that I have with my personal trainer. So I've decided to go this route. I am excited for this journey, and I will definitely let you in on this. But I wanted to continue in the concept of food. And if you listened to last week's episode, and if you haven't, you could definitely go back and listen to it. We talked about the food. We talked about food intake and the body and the wholeness of a body and the wellness of a body, right? Well, here goes the food for thoughts. This is how we feel the mind, right? And I wanted to bring some things to discussion. Excuse the ambulance outside the window. It is the Bronx, y'all, New York City, where there is all sorts of sound effects and traffic. All right, y'all. So I wanted to bring to the conversation for this week food for thought. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because what is someone's mind without thought processing, without thinking, without just having things in mind? That's how we get ideas. That's how we have so much going on within ourselves, and we're able to release them, and we're able to process them, register them, analyze them, even just on our own. Not overthink, scratch that shit out, but really analyze things, right? Even strategize, self-strategize for our own lives, right? This is something that I have been feeling a little bit of a journey. I'm exiting out of the word struggle as much as I can. A little bit of a journey in figuring things out. Self-strategizing. Just for myself, just for me, for my life, for what makes sense, on how I could figure out some form of balance here. And I do feel that when we do that, right, when we are processing things in our minds, and it could be absolutely anything. One of the things that we do need is that clear mind to be able to do so, to be able to do this in a healthy way, in a productive way, of course, in a strategic way, right? And I say this the same. The first food for thought I want to bring to the table for you guys is the fact that there's so much madness going on in the world, and we see that there is definitely a divide being presented to our society. It's no secret. This is something that's going to stay in our history books at some point, right? We're going to read about it with probably our grandkids at this point. It's something that, even though it's current events, is going to be an event for the rest of our lives. This whole shit with the pandemic, and now this whole shit with the vaccinations and this whole mandate shit. And the food for thought I want to put into perspective for you guys, and I want to leave you guys thinking about, right, is how crazy it has been, the madness, where you have people in the community, in our own communities, and our own friends and our families on opposing sides arguing about vaccinated versus non-vaccinated, right? Saying hurtful things to each other. Oh, you're stupid. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, why don't you just get it? Or the other ones. No, it's my body. It's my choice, right? You have two opposing sides. Well, here's the thing, right? As a human being, as someone who has chosen to be vaccinated, and I did not choose this ever so rapidly, and I definitely talked about this in a few episodes already. I also choose to respect people's decision about what they want to do with their body. Why? Because I like to have the right to choose and decide what I want to do with my body at any given moment, in any given instance. I have also chosen to strategically not engage too much in such deep debates with close friends and family who I know think differently than I do, because I do not know if everyone is going to be able to have a very open mind to the idea and the thought that this can in fact be a problem for some people. Even though I've decided to go ahead and take a vaccine, I still have fears and concerns that this may very much so extend to other mandates for the rest of our lives. And that may sound dramatic, but it's a reality, and it's a fear that I do have, that if we just stand by and we just say, okay, this is fine, no problem, that it's not going to be seen as an opportunity for other things to be imposed upon us, to be forced, to be mandated. So I want to give that food for thought to you guys, to really think on an open mind, to really try and look at all ends, all sides of the narrative, of the debates, right? To really try and understand one another, understand people who think differently from you, who are on the opposite side of the idea, who are not necessarily in agreement, who may not even necessarily understand the concepts, right? The principles behind why some people want to have the right to choose no matter what, and why some people just say, fuck it, just get it done. I want to put that food for thought as the first one, because what I'm really seeing to be the problem is that our society continues to go into a great divide, and that's pretty fucked up. So yeah, there goes your first food for thought. The second food for thought on this mini dose, and this is the one I am very excited about, because it's the complete opposite of the community division that we are facing right now, right? Well, the division within our community that we are facing right now because of a vaccine. It's actually the beauty that it is to see a community come together. So here's the food for thought on this, guys. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I really want to encourage y'all, any one of y'all who are content creators, curators, maybe even influencers that are tuning into the show, or just anyone with a form of a passion. Find that community that you can absolutely have relatable, very, how do I say this? Very inspiring, motivational conversations with people that could really fit into that part of your lifestyle, of that passion, people who truly understand. Doesn't mean you replace any of the ones who don't. It just means find that community where you could definitely turn to still have that level of experience. People who truly get it, people who truly understand, people who truly support, even when they have just met you for day one. I recently went to an event hosted by an amazing creative entrepreneur. And the event came from me being part of this community, and it all started with this very beautiful silky, I should say silky, not silky-ish, but bomb as fuck material. A robe, like, but it's like no other robe, right? I'm going to give a shout out to this company and to its founder, All Things Ada on Instagram. Her brand is called Vecina Couture. And when I tell you that it's one thing to feel so amazing wearing this robe, it's another to be in a place, in a room with other women wearing that same robe, sharing that momentum, the meaning and the purpose behind this robe. To be surrounded by so many powerful, strong, Black and brown women, Latina women, Afro-Latina women, entrepreneurs, creatives, all sorts of women. And then there were men too. Just such talented human beings in one space, in one place, sharing conversations, sharing ideas, sharing stories. It was just so amazing to meet complete strangers face to face for the first time. It was amazing to meet people that I have been following on social media for so long and really share a moment with them. It was even more so amazing to go with a close friend, a recent guest on the show. And it was even more fantastic to meet a professional person who was being highly recommended to me. And it turned out I know her very personally because we were part of this little clique, this little circle of friends in junior high school. To see someone that I know for so long and turn around and see someone who I just met for the first time face to face, it was just so much of an overwhelming, but in a very good way, experience. So emotional, so inspiring. I mean, the experience itself, the laughs, the conversation, the jokes, the memories in general made, together, that we were reminiscing on, and the memories that we've been able to share of our individual experiences and that we were able to relate to as we have all visited each other's countries at some point or know additional people from each other's countries in our Latino community, in our Latino culture, to be able to come together to an event. And let me specify what it is. It was hosted by Palante HBO Max for the Latinx Heritage Month. To be able to be in that moment, in that room, to celebrate our culture, our music, it was just so much emotion behind it, but it was just so beautiful to be able to say, that's a business owner, that's a business owner, that's Latina owned, that's Latina owned, that's Latino owned, oh, that's another Latino entrepreneur. Like, it was just such a dope experience. And in my 35 years of life, I've never had an experience like that. And I truly felt like I was part of that amazing community. Here's the cherry on top, because this is where it comes to play, the food for thought part, right? And this is where that cherry comes in. Ready? The fact that I had by no means any knowledge of entirely who was going to be there. Not entirely. I knew a few people that were coming. Actually, make that 2 cherries. Ready? The first cherry is, as soon as I'm there and as soon as I arrive, I got an email about an hour and a half before that that a pre-ordered book from someone that I met through social media that I came to know of, an author, Elizabeth Velasquez. She wrote this book with her poetry telling her story. It's called When We Make It. Brooklyn, y'all. Shout out to Brooklyn. She was one of the first people to enter, and I was, oh my God, like starstruck. Oh my God. I did not know where to go. I wanted to run. My eyes popped out. Y'all know my talent eyes. I mean, I was like, oh my God. And I hugged her. And I couldn't believe I was seeing this person face to face. And the first thing I said is, oh my God, I just got my email that the pre-order book is on its way. I'm an inspiring writer. And she said, no, you're a writer. And in that moment, I knew I was at the right place at the right fucking time. Shout out to Elizabeth Velasquez. I'm reading this book. It is so amazing and manifesting it right now. And I will say it a million times. She will be on the show, y'all. So that is cherry number 1. Cherry number 2. And to my podcast listeners and to my fellow Idea to Launch Academy fellow podcasters, y'all ready for this? Burn, 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 burn. Here you go. Remember, I said I didn't know entirely who was going to be there, who was going to enter through that door. Well, in the middle of this event, of me networking, because it was also a networking opportunity, y'all, which was so dope also, okay? I looked to my left with the only, it was like there was a natural calling on my left side. In the middle of the conversation, with my drink in my right hand, I just looked to my left. It was like something was calling me to turn. And who do I see? In the flesh, only my podcast coach from Idea to Launch Academy, Carla Ramirez, standing in the room, who just so happened to be invited that day. It was Vecina Couture's team. Invited my podcasting coach to the event, and I got to meet her face to face. And that was the second cherry on top. And I'm going to tell you why that was the second cherry on top. Because at the end of the day, it aligns with everything that this particular coach has always been preaching and talking. Put yourself in places where you are networking. Know people. Tell them about yourselves. Build relationships. Find your community. Right? Fit into those communities. Go into these places and speak on who you are and tell your story. Tell them about your podcast, right? Network. And here she is in the flesh, and she's seeing me do this, and I'm seeing her do it. I'm actually able to get a front row to see her in fucking action. And that was by far another dope as fuck moment in this entire experience of this event. And if you notice something with the food for thoughts, right? I already talked to y'all about the different coaching I've had in my life so far and how full circle this is in alignment, right? Where I get to meet in person another coach that has impacted my life so greatly. I'm talking about the divide amongst our communities over vaccination, but how dope it is to still find that one community that can be yours, that you could claim it to be yours, that you could claim it for you to be a part of. And there could still be so much togetherness, so much partnership, so much collaboration. And there could still be one common purpose bringing you together. Even though in society there is one common factor dividing people by half. Opposing sides. Into extreme debates. As to who's dumb, who's not. Who's stupid, who's not. Who's right, who's wrong. The irony, right? The irony, y'all. It's so crazy what this weekend has been for me. So crazy. I want to leave you guys with the third food for thought. Y'all, this is a deep fucking episode. This is now a triple dose. Y'all, it should have been just a double dose. But y'all going to get the triple one. Okay. All right. So, one of the events I went to this past weekend was definitely very personal, and I'm not going to give too much details on it. I'm not going to say names. I am not going to mention the specific relationship to these people, to this person in particular, because I do believe in respect And at the end of the day, relationships are key to me, especially very personal relationships, people that I love, people that I hold dear to my heart, and of course my chosen few. I don't know if I've ever explained what chosen few mean, but maybe someday I will. Anyway, there was an event I went to, very, very family like. It was absolutely a beautiful, beautiful event. And one of the things that stayed with me from this event, and here goes your third and final food for thought. There was someone there who I had not seen in a very long time. I would be lying to you if I tell you I was very close to that particular person. I wasn't, but someone in my immediate family has always been fairly close and has always maintained a very strong friendship with this person. Anyway, and not having seen this person in so long, here I am seeing this person face to face, and it turns out this person is not well. It turns out this person is not well to the point that, their fate is already known of where it's going to lead to and how it's going to end. I'm going to try to say this last food for thought without getting emotional, because when I saw this person, I was sitting next to my sister, shout out to Patty, and her and I immediately got choked up and we started to cry because we did not expect to see what we saw. Mind you, I've worked in healthcare 14 years out of my 35 years of life, y'all. You would think by now I got this shit down packed. I don't. But it's different when it's people that you love. Anyway, what I saw in that moment was such a shock to me that right before my eyes flashed the person that I had always known. The person that was so always on the go, so busy, so, able to manage the life of her entire family, manage the life of probably more than just a group of, 5 people. It's like that go-to person in a family and in a unit, right? I realized in that moment that all these things that flashed in my eyes of how I remember that person was truly me choosing to recognize not their present state and how things might end, but it was me choosing to recognize all the great memories, right? And choosing to remember that person in that way. I'm trying really hard not to get emotional. I'm bringing this up as the third food for thought, because a long time ago, I talked about legends and legacy. And I talked about it on this pod when we discussed Kobe Bryant and, what would people like their legacy to be. And I know that's a very famous person, right? Kobe Bryant is extremely famous. So there's a whole legacy made already. And when you think about regular, degular, schmegular, Bronx girls like myself, and what I would like my legacy to leave behind for people to remember me by, I kind of know what I want that to be, right? But the food for thought is definitely, what are you doing on a daily basis, right? What is it that you're doing day in and day out for the people around you that know you, for people that don't know you from a hole in the wall? What are you contributing to life? What are you doing for this world? Not that you're doing it for the purpose of a legacy, not that you're doing it for the purpose of people always having great memories of you, or for people to always remember you in such an amazing, positive, glorious light, but for the purpose of giving just back to the world, for the purpose of having purpose here. See, my purpose is I'm raising a very fine young man. My name is known in my career. It's known in places. People know my name in specific rooms. And now I am working towards my own personal brand. My name is my brand, but my own personal brand in a podcasting space, in a creative space, in a writer's community. And I'm creating in hopes of leaving behind a legacy here as well. That someday there will be a book that someone will also be able to be so starstruck and seeing me face to face. Ew. And say, oh my God, your book was so dope, right? Like, that's the type of legacy I'm working towards. That there's always going to be those memories that are kept in our mind. And then there's going to be those memories that could be left behind on a podcast episode, or can be left behind in a book of poetry or even a memoir. When I think about this particular person and all those great memories flash through my eyes, flash through my mind right before my eyes, all choked up that I was, I realized that that person maybe didn't even intend to leave behind any legacy, but that person just did it so effortlessly and so naturally. And that was just because that person was such a good person. It was just because they were so wholesome. They were so genuine. They were so loving. They were so God-fearing with so much faith in the Lord. They were about their family, the family they came from and the family they created. They were about keeping friendships. They knew how to be friends to people. It was about that type of a legacy. It was about those type of memories. And listen, that person is still here. But that person, that being in that moment, just made me realize how beautiful it is to be a genuine, good fucking person in life. It just put so much into perspective for me and gave me that food for thought. And it should give it to all of y'all too. On what do you really want people to remember you by if someday you're not here? And listen, it's not to sound morbid. Let's fucking face it, y'all. The reality is someday we all will just be a memory, and that's okay. But how do we want people to remember us? What are you leaving behind? What are you leaving so marked in life for people to be like, oh yeah, she did that. Oh yeah, he did that. What is it? What are those things? Think about it. Think about what you want that one thing to be. And make that shit fucking happen. I'm telling you, y'all, so much happened in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4 days, a long weekend that I had. Like, just so much that was completely worth it. So much conversation, so much laughter, tears, emotions. You can't take those moments for granted. You have to look at them. You have to recognize them. You have to give them their flowers. You have to give it that shout out, that recognition, because it made such a fucking impact and it made such a damn difference in that moment in your life. How great is that? How dope is that? And now that I gave you guys 3 food for thoughts, I hope it leaves you guys thinking. I hope it leaves you guys putting so much into perspective. I hope it helps you guys set some goals. I hope it helps you guys think a little bit more on what those goals are, on what those journeys are that you want to start leading on, stepping into pathways that you probably didn't even think you wanted to. I hope that this food for thought mini dose session here, really put you guys into a thought process. And let me know if this at all made you think about shit, made you think about the world, made you think about us, made you think about our fellow community members, made you think about our friends, our family, made you think about the shit we did way back when and the shit we're doing today. What did these things make you think about, y'all? One more time, shout out to that junior high school friend. It was so dope seeing her. We caught up through so much. We talked so much. We talked memories. Y'all, do y'all know she was like, nah, bitch, you were the bang queen. Like, bangs? Not the bang. Like, oh, I was like, no, not me. You were. No, we were talking bangs, y'all. Like, it was serious, but it was so dope. I can't take this shit for granted. It was dope as fuck. I'm leaving you guys again with this food for thoughts. Y'all, Remember to support this show, rate, review, and subscribe, of course, before you rate and review, but also rate and review. 5 stars. Leave those reviews. I'm going to start posting some of those reviews because it's pretty dope. Some of y'all have definitely left some recent reviews that were just so heartfelt, and I truly appreciate it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Send this link right over to your friends. Share these episodes. Share this content. Share this show. Y'all just share. You know your girl, Double Dose of Misty, always got some raw shit to talk about. And yeah. Oh, and one more thing, y'all. It is getting cold down here in New York City. So guess the fuck what? Double Dose of Raw Talk pod merch is still popping with some t-shirts. My fanny pack be on when I go work out. So in case you need one, go get yours. But most importantly, y'all, we got a very beautiful white hoodie on that merch store. I'm going to wear it and I'm going to post the picture so y'all can see it. And we have a black zip-up hoodie that is definitely a popular one. Several of you have definitely purchased it and have posted up with it. But y'all, it is hoodie season. The boots is gonna come out. Y'all could definitely rock out with some Double Dose of Raw Talk merch on it. So go get your little shopping going. Support your girl. And don't forget, we also still have my Journal to Self-Love ebook there. The next ebook is coming soon. And I know I promised you guys it would be a revamp to the store merchandise in September, but I'm gonna let it rock out for one more month and then we're going to revamp it. We're gonna start little by little with a soft second line launch, maybe. We'll see. And yeah, we also still have going on right now, and I promise to post more about it, guys. I swear, I promise I will. We do have the back to school supplies drive. This is for the back to class drive. We are still in the works and intending to provide supplies to a classroom to students and teachers. Right now, we are still finding out, the last little steps on finalizing this whole process, because we are doing it different due to us still being in a pandemic and DOE going through several changes here in New York City. But more to come on that. If you still love to donate, please check out the post that we will be sharing on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast and IG page Double Dose of Miss D. I will be sharing some information on how you could donate. Also, there will be a self-care package for a teacher that the public can nominate here in New York City in the tri-state area. So be on the lookout for that. And finally, of course, this here show has been brought to you by our number one and favorite woman-owned, Latina-owned business, Cannabis Queen of Queens. Shout out to my girl, Sully. Truly appreciate you supporting the show in this platform and giving my listeners a sweet, personalized Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast discount of 20% of your next order for Cannabis Queen of Queens on the Etsy page, Canna Queen of Queens. Y'all, the code is DDRT20. You want to get her canna blends. They are so good. Keep me so mellowed out, so zen. You want to try this out. She has a pretty dope blend out right now. You don't want to miss it. So go get yours also. Again, that is Cannabis Queen of Queens. DDRT20 gives you 20% off to all of our Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast listeners. You don't want to miss your chance. Go and get yours. All right. And as always, guys, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. As always, I'm your host, Miss C, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye.